Welcome to the Go Out Living Attitude, a cancer survivor's journey through health and wellness, helping others search for the tools to bring us a healthier and happier lifestyle. Hi, everyone. Jonathan Brandt, Go Out Living. Another great guest. We have Amy Bel Bruno, National Board Certified Health and Wellness Coach. It is a pleasure to have you on.
Aw, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be on.
I am so excited. I appreciate you being on. We were talking earlier, and I thought we'd get started with your story and how you got into holistics and how you became a coach.
Yeah, so I actually my whole life I've always been interested in, nutrition, health and fitness. I was a hardcore runner most of my life, and marathons. I've done all that. But I went into a safer field and got my degree in communications and I worked in television for many, many years. But, I kept up everything in my hobbies were centered around and fitness and health. And, it's a joke at my old jobs where people would come up to me all the time at their breaks and be like, okay, so I need to do this with my health. Can you give me some advice? And so I was like side hustling at work, not getting paid, but giving advice. So, in my heart, I knew that was my calling my whole life. I just never really pursued it. I even worked at a gym my whole, all through college. So this was obviously my passion. But anyway, I stood during what was it? During COVID time, I started not feeling good, but I pulled off like blew it off. We were in stress, and we're all the whole world is a mess right now and everything. But I was getting dizzy. I wasn't. I can't explain. I was breathless. I would go out running in the morning, and I'd feel my heart. I'd be at a stoplight, but my heart was still racing as though I was running fast. And I knew it wasn't right. And I would sit on the curb and don't do what I do, everyone, when you're listening. Most people, I ignored it. I waited till I thought I could start running again and kept running and doing all that. Anyway, long story short, I kept experiencing the symptoms, so I finally went and found out that I had a what they call atrial fibrillation, and so it's a heart arrhythmia, and my heart was getting up to 200 and something beats per minute. And so, if you're
Wow.
not when you're running, you really don't even want it at 200. But when you're not running and you're sitting in your chair and your heart's going 200 beats a minute, it does not feel good. And I was dizzy, all of these things. So anyway, you know, went through the Western medicine route. They kind of scared me and they're like, you need to get an ablation. My heart was also stopping for like 10 seconds at a time. And they're like, you need a pacemaker, you need all these things. And out of fear, I kind of went that Western medicine route. And again, I don't judge the doctors because in the moment, I was new to this and all of that. Um, but if I knew now, or if I knew then what I know now, I would have not made any of those decisions. I would have, I would have done a different route. But anyway, I am where I am, and God did that for a reason because God wanted me to pursue this journey so I can hopefully help others. And so anyway, during that time, I decided there has to be a root cause. This doesn't make sense. I'm a healthy, person. I've taken really good care of myself. Perfectly? Absolutely not. Right. But overall, yes. Why is this happening? And I went down the world of just really understanding functional medicine and realizing that every one of us, whatever we have, whatever our ailment may be, there is a root cause to why that happened. And I firmly believe that. And when I dug back, I always tell people on their health journey, it's like an onion. You got to peel back the layers and you got to see what went on. And if you really dig, you'll realize it's not so much as just your diagnosis. You got to go back and look like, hey, was I working a stressful job? Was I not sleeping? Am I living in a moldy home? All these things. So I did my own health journey, went back to school, got board. Not only did I get my health coaching certification, I went back and got board certified. And I have just been thriving and loving helping others discover the root cause to what's going on in their life because it's out there if we dig for those answers. And I've spent years digging for mine, and now I'm able to hopefully make a difference in others' lives.
Well, and that's what I love about how you're approaching it. It's not, yeah, you can sit there and be a health coach or a doctor or any of it, but if you don't look for that root cause,
Hmm.
you're just kind of glossing over everything.
I agree with you. I always say it's like if you have a crack in the wall and you're just putting your finger up at the crack and hoping the water doesn't come through. Let me tell you something. It's going to spider and that water is going to come through at some point if you just keep putting, trying to patch it up. So it is. And most people will be like, they're like me. And there's a lot of people in this world who there's some who don't take care of themselves, but there's a lot of people who are healthy and are where I was going, wait, why me? I take care of myself. And then you're not looking at your other lifestyle factors that are so important to look at. And it's not as simple as what you eat. Is what you eat important? Absolutely. But if you are a stressed person and you're not able to get yourself out of fight or flight mode and you're constantly ramped up, you are going to have some problems in your health journey.
How many people do you deal with that are also on prescriptions, for instance? Are they being led down the wrong road per se?
Yeah. I work with a lot of people who are on them, and always, always when I start working with somebody, they say, I want to get off my meds, right? And that's their goal. And it's scary though, because the doctors are really good at telling them if you don't stay on this, the world is going to fall apart and your health is going to go, down the tubes. And I'm not a doctor and I'm never going to tell somebody not to take their medication. Absolutely not. But I will say I empower people to please do the research and look into, you want percentages. How much of this medicine is it really curing and helping people, right? Now, in a moment, like I always say, if you're on fire and you need to tame the flames and you need to do that just to control it, absolutely. But there is a time and a place for medication. So I won't say that nobody should ever take medication. But if somebody's saying you need to be on something for the rest of your life outside of a type 1 diabetic, I'd say you need to really look into that information and say, why? What else is out there? And if you really talk to your doctors, they're going to tell you, if you bring up natural approaches, they're going to be like, oh, that doesn't work. They have to say that. And I totally respect them. They don't know. I happen to work with a heart doctor. The electrophysiologist for my heart is fantastic. He's Western medicine, but he's absolutely open to the natural stuff. And he will always say to me, I don't know anything about that world, but I know you do. So if it's working, do it. And a lot of doctors will not say that.
Well, I think they're scared of getting sued, to be honest. I think it's that simple.
Yeah. Yeah. I think you're right. But, and I say this kindly, they also get paid to write a prescription.
Yeah. Yeah. That's just the way the system's set up. I mean, and it's not necessarily their fault. It's just
No,
that's the business.
it is a business. Look what they
And
just
they
did with
do very well.
they do very well. And look what they just did with cholesterol. They lowered the number again so that we can write more statin prescriptions to people who should not be on statins, right? As we're writing these, we're seeing dementia and Alzheimer's and all those things go up. And if people really do the research,
Well, I think
beware.
you put it yeah, I think you put it perfectly though, is people are finding out from this, from podcasts, from those of you that are really pushing people to learn. It's more about learning
It is.
and finding out where to learn and where to find the tools to help themselves.
And that's it. And people are scared to do that. And, I think it's growing. The world is growing where there people are being, you have to be the CEO of your own health. You really do. And you can't just listen, I am not discrediting doctors or prescriptions. What I'm saying is do the research, join like-minded people who are dealing with what you're dealing or who are looking for natural approaches. And listen, if you've been on a medication for 10 years, I would never say to you, ditch it tomorrow and just go all natural, right? You can't do that. You have to find out, hey, can I taper? Can I do the right thing? But what can you add into your world that naturally supports your healing? And there's a lot out there. And then without even worrying about which supplements you're taking and which, or am I on a medication, I would say, look at your lifestyle. Don't worry about all this right now. If you join these podcasts, and I know you're so in tune to this, and if you dig into it, look at the things that can support your health. And I talked about it a little bit, but like sleep. I tell all my clients, please, when you wake up in the morning, walk outside. Bring your coffee if you want. Look up at the sky and have your eyes meet the sun and do some breathing, even if it's 5 minutes. You'll set your circadian rhythm and you will have a much better day. And your body will know it's morning and it will know when to go to bed next. And, get to nature, eat whole foods, try to eat as organic as possible, eat pasture raised meats if you're eating meat. And my goodness, I couldn't talk to you enough about eating wild caught fish and trying to lower your inflammation in your body. But really, that's what this is, Jonathan. Whether no matter what your ailment is and what your diagnosis is, it all stems back to inflammation in the body. So how do we bring down that inflammation? And we can start with some simple lifestyle tricks that don't cost a lot of money.
No, they don't, and it's just people don't know about it. Yeah, yeah, really. Um, what are the type of people you're working with a lot right now? Is there a certain type, or is it all over the place? Because here's the reason I ask. We seem to be in a pretty bad spot overall as a nation, I guess,
Mhm,
if we want to keep it within the US. We just came out with numbers that people are not going to outlive their parents.
mhm.
It's scary.
Yeah.
So, what are you finding from patients right now or from people you're working with?
Yeah, it's interesting. So I work with a lot of people who are dealing with heart issues like myself because it just happens to be a specialty of mine now. But what I see the most, honestly, leaky gut. And everybody thinks that's such a, like, whatever the term of the moment. And it kind of is. But the truth is, it's really your gut is your second brain. And if you have a leaky gut, you have a leaky brain. And there's a brain gut connection. And, when you're talking about these young, these children not outliving their parents, they are exposed to so much more between the chemicals on the food and in the environment, chemtrails, packaged food, microplastics, all of this, and stress. The stress is in your leaky gut. It adds to it. So when that happens, you have things pouring into your bloodstream because your gut isn't sealed. And then that just sends off all kinds of things. The great news is it can be fixed, but unfortunately, in the world we live in today, which is different than even our parents lived in, definitely different than our grandparents lived in, we are exposed to more and more. And I fear that our children and their children will be exposed to more and more if we don't stop this pattern, right? People talk about, I feel better when I'm in the blue zones or I'm in, Italy. They, not only for a lifestyle factor, they're a lot more chill than we are, but they're not spraying their foods with all the crud that we're spraying it with. And they also, and the other thing I'll tell you, the biggest culprit too, and it does affect leaky gut. And I'm going to pull it up because I have one too. It's this thing, right? We're we're like this all day long. We're on some type of device, and that is adding to it too. So we also have a generation of people who are exposed to EMFs like never before. This was never something that people were. We have 5G towers on every corner. And, people might think I'm crazy, but I'm convinced that this is what's leading to a lot of people's health problems too.
I agree 100%. Here's the other thing, and I brought this up to another guest, is we're all sitting in front of a computer as well. We're not getting the physical fitness part from our daily work. So if we're not making time to do it ourselves, it's not getting done.
No, no. And that's funny I talk to my clients about that a lot because I tell them, it's great when you tell me you went for your morning workout. I love that. I love that. But then if you come home or you go to the office and you sit there all day long and don't move, that's bad too because we're just sitting. So I like to say we need to do like mini snack workouts, right? And that doesn't have to be like sweating. It can be go outside, walk around outside if you're at an office building, or even just get some sunshine, right? To get your eyes out of the fluorescent lights that you're in, your computer. I wear these funny yellow glasses because I don't want, all of that blue light coming in my eyes. But, doing things, moving, standing up at your desk instead, get out of your chair, stand up, go walk and talk to a colleague. We're also in a generation where all we do is talk via, I know my kids will be over and have a friend over, and I watch them texting each other while they're sitting next to each other. You know? So we're in that kind of world. So, but all of this is, you're right, it's affecting our health. And but back to your original thing, and yeah, I would say the majority of people, I find people with a lot of leaky gut, and that also can cause a whole host of issues, and even sleep problems and anxiety. We have a young generation dealing with lots of anxiety too.
Big time. And well, they're so used to getting likes or getting everything revolves around social media,
Mhm.
and there's no communication.
I
I
know.
struggle with my older kids. I mean, it's just not there. So when you're, and that comes back to being healthy in general, you're sitting there trying to help them be healthy because you've
Hmm.
gone through what you've gone through and they
Hmm.
don't listen.
No, no. There's my youngest, she jokes all the time with me because they all know, but if I start to say something, they go, "I know, mom, it's toxic." You know?
Yeah. That's my 6-year-old. He's like, "Dad, there's too much sugar in it." I'm glad you're recognizing
Well,
it,
I
buddy.
love that he recognizes that. Oh my god, that's fantastic.
Yeah, but well, he's seen, a mom pass away. He's seen me go through all my stuff, which is sad. That's not the kind of wake up call we want for people.
No. No. No, we don't. But, you took that as your turning point, right? And you're able to share that with your family. And all we can do is, whether it be clients or family or friends, is try to share what we know. Now, there's the opposite end of the spectrum, which is I don't want to ever fearmonger people, because you can't live in a bubble, right? It's about, I always tell people it's about good, better, best. We want to strive to make the best judgment, but we're going to make some good ones. We're going to make some better ones, and we're going to sometimes not make the best choices. We're human beings, right? But if we can shape and form our lives to kind of help us to be healthier and put up, things that are going to make us thrive in our life, then when we don't make the best choice, it hopefully won't have the impact that, such a negative impact, because we've built the foundation to be healthier. And I'm not just talking body, internally, that's a big part, but mentally, spiritually, all of these things that will help us thrive.
Well, that's a holistic side of it.
Yeah. Yep.
When you're coaching, how do you I know SMART goals is a big thing for health coaches.
Hmm.
Do you worry that people don't even understand what goals means? Like, they're out there, "Well, I just want to lose 50 pounds,"
Hmm.
but they don't have a way to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's funny that you say that. So and sometimes then it comes down to intention, right? Instead of goals. Because a goal is, like you said, I want to lose 50 pounds. But do you know why you want to lose 50 pounds? Do you want to lose 50 pounds because you just want to look good in your bikini because it's April and we want to be bikini ready by June? Or is it because I want to live to be the healthiest version of me and be on this earth as long as I can be pain free, healthy, part of my community, part of my family? So, what is the goal? And I think that's our job as coaches, is to help them visualize that goal and broaden it so that it's not just a quick payoff. Because I think that can be dangerous waters for some people if you just want that immediate gratification and you're doing it just for that, and you're not doing it for something that really maybe will be part of a bigger healthy lifestyle for you. So I think it's about digging that, and then find actionable steps too, right? If I always tell my clients, I'm board certified, I'm a health coach, but if we're talking like food and nutrition, you know what to do. I'm not going to really share anything with you that you don't know about. We got to find out why you're not able to do it, and that's the goal. um, yeah, some people, I'm going to tell them something about a nutrition plan that they didn't know, or they may find out they didn't know they were allergic to nightshades and they shouldn't be eating them, or that they can't eat lectins and that's why their gut is the way they are. So I shed some light on that. But in general, about eating right and doing the right thing, most people know what they should be doing. There's just the why isn't it happening in your daily world? Is it, that's what it is. And then I always tell people, one day to get to this feeling that you're having. So don't expect it to be get to your whatever goals or intentions in a day. You have to look for those improvements. Like, you know what? Hey, I didn't eat this week. Yes, on me. What the scale says, sugar this week. I slept
Yeah, you
8
need that
hours.
acknowledgement of the good too.
Yeah, celebrate your wins. Celebrate your wins and we're all bio individuals. So what's going to work for me is not going to work for you and vice versa. Overall, we got to tailor everything to meet you where you're at.
Well, and that just comes down to talking, right? I mean, we talk about, okay, just the quick fixes, the 30-day, the 60-day, the 90-day. Okay, we're going to take a shot to lose the weight. None of that is sustainable, though.
No, no, it isn't sustainable. And and again, like you said, quick fixes. But then you also have there's an emotional side to whatever we're dealing too. So it's taking that journey the full way too, and kind of marrying the two so that you do get sustainable results. And yeah, there's a reason, like you said, if you decide to do the shot route, and you just are going to continue to eat Hershey bars, but you're not hungry, you're only eating a quarter of a Hershey bar, so I'm losing weight, then you really didn't change your relationship with food, right? You're still attracted to the same things. You're just not able to eat them, as much of them because of your appetite control. And again, I'm not downing people who choose to do that route. A lot of people that's their route, but just make sure you're educating yourself along the way and going, okay, but how does this help me achieve my overall goal? I want to eat better. I want to eat whole foods. I want to eat better protein. I want to make sure I have muscle mass, and not lose my muscle mass, and all of those things. So yeah, you're like you said, it comes down to talking and really making sure people understand what they're going for.
Well, I think that's one of the hardest parts. We're such a society where it's a quick fix. Well, and then it's an emergency. I just got diagnosed, so now I'm just going to jump in and just get this over with. It
Mhm.
doesn't work that way.
Mhm. No, it doesn't. And that it's hard because we are living in a world, and especially going back to talking about our younger generation, we're in a world of instant gratification. And it doesn't work that way at all. And then we're also in a world of, like we were talking about with the whole social media. I think there's a lot of benefits to social media, and I think but I also think people have false narratives of what people's best lives are, because nobody's going on there to say I'm miserable about something or whatever. Everybody's looking their best. Never had a bad day in my life. My family's perfect. My weight is perfect. And a lot of people become susceptible and feel like they have to have that same image.
Yeah, and that's just not sustainable again. It's not realistic.
Mhm.
Do you find well, one, do people understand what health coaching is?
No, that's so funny. Thank you for asking that. And I like to tell people that. So, because I think when people hear health coach, they think of it much like a personal trainer or just like nutrition, and that's not what I'm doing. Health coach. First of all, we don't diagnose. We are not doctors. We definitely do not do that. But we are helping you use the tools to live your best life as far as your health and wellness, and whatever those goals are, we help you achieve them. Can it be nutrition? Absolutely. Gut health, maybe. I work with people who do parasite cleanses. Whatever your health goals are, that is what we do. But as a functional health coach, what I am doing is also helping you get to the root cause of why you're feeling the way you're feeling and how we can help you feel better. Now, there are some health coaches out there who specialize in other things, but mine is specifically only in health and wellness. Like, you'll find a health coach who just helps you like get out of a rut, or which is fantastic too. But that's not what I do. But yeah, that is interesting, because when people hear health coach, they really don't have an idea of what we do, or they think we're just going to tell you like, oh, do keto and bye bye, So
Yeah, you're not there to actually tell them what to do. You're there to help them learn what to do. As far
exactly.
as they need to figure it out themselves, you're just reinforcing the right direction.
That's it. That's it. And that all comes from, like, with a health coach. When you work with a health coach, they're gonna take a health history from you, most likely, get to know you, so they can help learn everything about you and personalize things to a bio individual. And, and that's really important because a health coach will also take in, we're not therapists too, by the way, but we take in what your journey is. And we can also, I love sharing like, okay, that's not my area of expertise, but I can connect you with, this person, or that person who will be able to help you in that area. And anybody in the functional space, I would say I've never come across somebody who doesn't recommend out when it's not their area of expertise.
Yeah, it's the networking side of
Mhm.
it. Well, and that's what, as a client, as a patient, that's probably one of the most important things is to understand it's just not one person it's not just your doctor that's going to help you get through life in general.
Yeah.
It's going to be a health coach, it's going to be a functional medicine, it's going to be everybody involved. And there's going to be a lot of people. That's why we call it a community.
That's it. And, listen, accountability too, right? I always tell people it's accountability. I hope I never scare anybody like, "Oh gosh, I have my meeting with Amy coming up." But odds are if you know you have a meeting with me next week, it's just human nature. You're gonna be like, "Oh my gosh, I wanna tell her that I went out walking 3 times this week and I slept and I did my meditation." We all fuel better if we have a little bit of accountability.
I agree 100. Well, you can't move on if you don't have accountability.
Mhm.
Trust me, I know my kids. We talk about stress as well. I think stress is, we don't talk about it enough, actually, and that's part of the mental side of it. Do you find that a lot of your clients don't even understand they have that much stress in their lives because 'cause they're just used to it?
Yeah, I think that's a huge part of it, and that's when I was talking to you about it earlier, is like the regulating your autonomic nervous system, basically when I was talking about fight or flight mode. So you can either be in, what we call the parasympathetic state, which is where we're just very calm and chill, or you can be in the sympathetic, which you'll often hear people refer to like in our ancestors, which is I'm on prepared to fight the lion at all times, and I can rise to that challenge. A lot of people are in that state of being fighting the lion all the time and they don't realize it. They're like, "Oh, my blood pressure's been higher. Oh, I wake up and I stare at the ceiling from 2 to 4 in the morning." And we blow these things off. A lot of us do, because we know how to get on the treadmill and keep going. But it's going to catch up to you and they don't realize their stress. We brush things off. Well, that's just what we do. We work 12 hours a day, or, I've always slept 4 hours at night. And I've always had acid reflux, so I've been popping, stuff to take that. I've been popping Tums or what antacids, for days, and we take this as the norm instead of saying, "Hey, hold on, the check engine light is definitely going off in my body. It's time to listen." And people do not realize that stress is a big deal. And, it's easy for us as health coaches or functional practitioners to say, well, we need to help your stress level. Cause then somebody's going to be like, come on, I have to work. I'm a parent. I'm working 40, 50 hours a week and I'm rushing to get my kid from school and get them to practice and get meals on the table. Like, when am I going to de stress? You know, we're not going to take life commitments away from people, but can we carve out little windows of time in there for you? And that's what I like to work with people. And they don't realize, guys, stress kills us. It really does. And it's something to take super serious and not to fear. But like I was saying to you earlier, 5 minutes in your back, get outside in the morning before you go to bed, put on YouTube that has sound baths on there, put your headphones in, but please don't use AirPods. Please use plug in headphones, please. Uh, and listen to something calming. Put your phone down, put it away from your body, guys. Put your phone away from your body. But just those things help. We have to decompress, and it's hard. I know we can't just get rid of stress, but I can't tell you how much it's causing people. And when I was talking about leaky gut, stress is one of the biggest culprits of leaky gut because it causes acid in our stomach, right? And so it's just a trickle effect.
It's, again, recognizing it and then acknowledging.
Yeah.
We talk about nutrition. This is another area that people don't, I feel like, okay, they know they're doing wrong, but don't necessarily know how to do it right because, well, they wanna do it all at once.
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
that again doesn't work.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think we live in a there's a lot of people, it's all or nothing. We've had people, I mean, I'm sure you've done it. I've done it in my lifetime where it's like, tomorrow I'm starting my diet. So today I am going to eat candy and this and that because we've decided it's completely a breakup with it, and then it's all or nothing. And that's not what it is. And I hate the term diet, by the way, because I don't think that's going to ever resonate well with anybody. You just have to do your best. Honestly, there's so many wonderful foods, better than ever out there. You got to eat whole foods. You have to eat whole foods, and you have to try to, I know it's not economical for everybody, but you have to try to get organic pasture, raised meat, organic fruits and veggies. If you guys aren't familiar with the EWG, the Environmental Working Group, go on their site. Not eat those and get those organic. Everything else, use their clean 15 and say, hey, I'm saving a few bucks here. But also, I will say the nutrition, just don't judge yourself, don't shame yourself if you ate something that didn't agree love you back that day, and you're don't just, all right, I ate it, it didn't love me back. You have choices. Make the rest of your day better. Make the right choices. Or, I'm a big proponent, and if I mean, it's got to work for you, and I don't work with you, so I'm not advising everybody, but fasting is another way. If you just went for it, man, I'm good, and you enjoyed it. Maybe it's like, okay, I'm just going to fast until tomorrow morning to kind of let my system settle. There's ways to mitigate it, but really it's about doing your best to take whole foods in. Read labels, guys. They are poisoning us. Anytime it says natural flavors, that is a pass for somebody. They can put whatever they want into a natural flavor, right? Read your labels. You have more than 5 ingredients that you don't recognize, it's probably best you put that back on the shelf.
And do you agree you don't have to go 100% as far as, okay, we're going all organic today?
Hmm.
You can slowly add the good
Hmm.
as you go. It doesn't have to be all in one.
It doesn't. I agree with you. Listen, there's a lot of people on a budget that just can't do certain things. So pick what you can start with. Open your fridge. All right, well, right now they're very expensive, but if it's your eggs, okay, we're going to start by getting organic pasture raised eggs. Or, guys, we're going to try to buy wild caught um salmon this week. I would tell everybody, if I could open your cabinet and tell you where to start, where would I start right away? I would do my best to get rid of sugar, but I would say, please throw out your seed oils. If you have seed oils in your cabinet, you have canola oil, you have any seed oil, throw it out. Get rid of it. That right there is like the new cigarette smoking, is eating seed oil. So it inflames your entire body. So start with, okay, I'm going to get a good tallow or coconut oil or olive oil, high grade. Turn your olive oil over, because now they're starting to trick us and put canola oil in there because they're blending them. Um, Cooking old school butter, guys. That's where I would start in your house, and just pick one swap. Don't overwhelm yourself. You're never going to do it all at once. And it's just, okay, I'm making better choices, and you'll feel good about it.
Something I found funny, I opened up my pantry the other day. We talk about money, but we waste it on so much junk.
Hmm.
I mean, I could probably what I actually need in a week, I can do in the refrigerator and not and hardly use any of the pantry itself.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not that hard. It's just us admitting that, okay, we don't need this and get the healthy and pay a little bit more. Yeah. But in the end, if you're not getting all the junk, it kind of comes out even.
Yeah, I heard some good advice. I think it was Dan Buettner. He did the Blue Zones, but he had a really good documentary. If you haven't seen, anybody hasn't seen the Blue Zones documentary, it's fantastic on Netflix. But and I have no association. It's just really cool to see how these people are living to their 100 years and what they're doing to do it. But he had a really good take on it. If you're craving something salty. Listen, we're human. I'm going to tell you that. Like, I'm sure you agree. I'm not going to sit here and tell you you're not going to have an ice cream with your kid, or you're not going to, go do all that stuff. Or, some of us, if you want a glass of wine or whatever you do, you're going to do it. You're going to live your life. It's about what are your things you shouldn't have in your cabinet. And he had a really good take. He said, if you're craving ice cream, great. If you can't find it, go get it. Go out and get an ice cream cone, have it out, and then it's done. Because if you have it in your house, if you buy that gallon, it's sitting in your house, you're going to go back and eat it. So it was really great advice. Like those type of things that don't have them in your cabinet. And if you can't find it, go get it. So that when it's done, it's done. And I thought that was really good advice.
That's great advice. That drives me nuts about my kids is when, okay, grandpa or grandma give them a thing of cookies. And you gotta sit there and go, "Okay, they're gonna have to eat them all now." And it's like, one would have been fine, but no, now we gotta bring it home, and
Yep. No, I
it's
know.
now a week of sugar that they just didn't need.
Yep. Yep. And it's hard because grandpa and grandma don't always understand. I know mine do the same thing, but it's like, yeah.
It's crazy.
And it's hard. You can
But
only do the tools you can do, but that applies though. It really does.
yeah, it really does. So somebody wanting to get started,
Yeah.
understanding that they need to get started, what are their steps?
I think their steps are that's fantastic that number one, applaud yourself that you realized I got to do something, right? And then I would say, what is your big picture goal? Where are you hoping to see yourself in 6 months from now? That's the big picture goal. Great. What are we going to do this week? And that is where you have to really take a look at what's going on with your body. And hopefully if you're working with a functional practitioner or a health coach or whoever, they're going to help you come up and listen to you and help you come up with what's doable. And that can be, I would say, no matter whether you're the fittest person in the world or you feel like you have weight to lose or whatever, you can look in your cabinet. Can I make any nutritional changes here? um, can I modify my sleep? Simple things. Get out in nature. I would start, get out in nature, practice gratitude. These are like simple things that you can do, but just support yourself. The fact that you're saying, I know I need to change something means, yeah, you do. And this is a beautiful life and you got to go live it. And the other thing I would say is we are all products of our environment too. So I am in my household, I'm the crazy one with all my beliefs, and luckily everybody supports me, but sometimes we can have people who don't mean to self sabotage our goals because it can shine a light on things they're not doing for themselves. And so you want to remember to be go me. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And if they're not doing that, if you've got that friend or that person is like, oh, come on. You don't have to do that. You just need, no, you stick with what you want to do. And you don't judge others. Thank you. You empower them to do them, but you're choosing to change your life around and go for it. But don't have grace. I always tell people have grace with yourself. If you only changed one thing in a week, if you put sugar in your coffee every day of the week, and all you did in that week one was reduce putting sugar in your coffee by 2 days, you won. You won. So those don't say it's all or nothing. Pick a couple things and be proud of yourself, and the other changes will start to trickle in.
And it's alright to be selfish if it's
Yeah,
gonna because it'll benefit everybody in the end.
absolutely. Absolutely. I think so many people, moms, dads, we hear it about women a lot and we know this about moms, but dads too. We tend to say, oh, well, I'll deal with it later, or put everybody else first. And you know what? If we do not take care of ourselves, we are not going to be able to be helpful in other people's lives, and for our children, our aging parents, even young kids, if there's young people watching this, you have a lot of life to live. You want to be the best version of you when you're older. And I know somebody in their 20s thinks 40 sounds ancient, but we are seeing a lot of people in their 20s and 30s dealing with some major health crises. And there we have to say, hey, what is going on? and give these guys the platforms to do their research and find their root cause and thrive and live their healthiest lives so that they can be a thriving 40, 50, 60-year old, 70, 80, I hope, 90.
I agree 100%. Well, and you brought up a good point too. The people that are around you. Again, you can be selfish within your own family. You know, they may want to eat whatever they want to eat, but you know you need to do it for yourself.
Mhm.
And guess what? That usually trickles down to everybody else eventually when they see how happy you are.
Totally. Totally. Well, and even still, like you were saying, it trickles on people like with our in my own family, if we're talking about where they want to go out to eat. And I say, "Oh, you guys, you know what? It's not my thing, but I'll come with you. I'll just eat before I go if you guys are going to eat that." Well, 9 times out of 10 they'll go, "Well, where would you want to eat, mom?" And then we end up at that spot, but it's not me telling them don't go, right? It's me saying I'm choosing not to do that.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think I'm doing my health and wellness coaching stuff right now, and they talk about community. That's what's so big, and that's what we're trying to do here, isn't it? There's so many of you guys out there just wanting to get the word out and create communities, really, when it comes down to it, that we all kind of think the same because we all just want to be healthier, to live longer, to have that lifestyle.
Yeah, and feel part of something, right? And like-minded people. And luckily, we were talking about some of the negatives of social media and things earlier, but just like you were saying, the community doesn't just mean your community that you live in, although I do encourage and hope people are getting out there in their communities. But community can be a group on social media that has the same, things, whether it be you're dealing with an autoimmune disease and you find a group that you feel supported in, but also wellness groups too. There's so many out there. And, you as a health coach, you're doing all that. I'm in a million health coaching groups too, like, because you can pick each other's brains and you feel supported. And I think what you're saying too, part of your health journey, I mean, one of the biggest things they find with people is not feeling part of something can really negatively impact your health. So, back to that, when I was telling you about the blue zones, well, these people are living to 100 because they're interacting with their families and their friends and they're doing all that. Well, we all need that. We need social interaction, and it doesn't necessarily come always with being in physically with somebody. It can be groups like we were talking about. And I think it's fantastic to have that community aspect.
Yeah, I agree 100%. As we're going out, what is your biggest tip for everybody? What can they do other than acknowledge everything? How do you get them to take control of their life?
I always say gratitude. So, and and I do this within my own family too. I talk about gratitude, but I will tell people when they tell me all the things wrong with them, right? Every day, that's okay. We got to acknowledge the things not working. And I'm a big believer in that. But pick something in your day that is working. What did you do to shine a light on you in a positive way today? And if you stop, there was one thing, and that could have been like, you know, I got coffee and I had the greatest chat with the person who made my coffee. I saw the most beautiful bird today. I looked up at the sky and I haven't seen clouds shaped like that, forever. So find those little moments to have gratitude instead of always pointing out what's wrong. Because the easiest thing is to point out the negative. So pick one positive thing and congratulate yourself every single day on something you did right. Because you did something right in your day, no matter what.
There's nothing else to say right there. That's how you do it. Amy Bel Bruno, it was an absolute pleasure.
Well, it was my pleasure.
Yeah, we're going to end it right there, folks, because there's nothing else better to say. All right, as we go out, find the attitude, keep the attitude, go out living. Bye, everybody. Till next time.